morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Thursday, the 27th day of June 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to Most High God for the very privilege of being alive. And of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly, but let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. NPP running mate Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the chosen one. Parliament ratifies Ghana Bauxite Company's mining lease. 7.3 million Ghanaians multidimensionally poor. GSS report. Malaria-related deaths reduced drastically. The Ghanaian Times. NPP presidential running mate race. Napo gets nod as president accepts choice to partner VIF for election 2024. Gamanche Foundation, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, renovate Manchetakitaria, the first cluster of schools. Kenya violent protests. 5 Ghanaian MPs caught up in demo, safe, set to return weekend. Daily Guide. NPP VIP raise Baumia picks Napo. The Church of Jesus Christ, Gamanche renovates school. Trade Minister introduces cement pricing law. E-Transform project connects 951 government agencies to internet. Parliament ratifies bauxite mining lease. The New Crusading Guide. Baumia picks Napo as his running mate. Parliament ratifies mining lease for Ghana Bauxite Company. PM Group CEO constructs chips compound for Nketia community. EC certifies Save the Nation movement to contest 2024 general elections. William Notte, the owner not our family head. The owner royal family set record straight. Zonda Tech Ghana introduces power pickup models into Ghanaian market. The Insight. Snate Hotel saga. Ablakwa insists on RTI request of a minister's questionable bid. 951 government institutions connected with high-speed network under E-Transform project. Protest over breakdown of radiotherapy machine. Cancer patients bear brunt of strike by Konfanochi Teaching Hospital. Oncology doctors. Comet Estates boss rubbishes Kwabenya Queen Mother's claims on land boundary between Neo-Dai Into family and Brekusu. My desire is to leave my society better than I found it. Sosu responds to award in recognition of community service. And congratulations to the Honorable Sosu, who's has been recognized for an award, a lifetime achievement for the Presidential Service Award in the USA. So congratulations to you, the Honorable Sosu. The Daily Statesman. Parliament okays Awasu bauxite deal. 1,749 RTI request in 2023. Akufo-Addo advocates evidence-based drug policies. Supreme Court upholds Bank of Ghana's revocation of UniCredit's license. Dankwa Institute poll shows overwhelming support for Napo. The New Finder. Growth to hit 2-year high as domestic demand is expected to rebound. Parliament ratifies Ghana Bauxite Company's mining lease. Church of Jesus Christ Gamanche Foundation renovate Adabraka School. Bank of Ghana committed no error in revoking license of UniCredit. Supreme Court. Cement manufacturers, Trade Minister clash over proposed cement price regulation. Daily Post. Akufo-Addo doling out $5 million to Bedi Etuo's daughter for musical concert in the midst of extreme hardship. No funds to buy gas for electricity, etc. Lordina Mahama supports hairdressers and dressmakers in Nkuranza North. I couldn't doubt why we are in this mess after reading Baumia's doctorate thesis, Bessie Pratt. And that's about it. For the front pages, we'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And with me on the show this morning, I have the Member of Parliament for the Kwadaso constituency, who's also the Honorable Deputy Minister of Education. Okay, so he's here with me on the show, Dr. Kingsley Nyako, also an Associate Professor at the Political Science Department. Psychology Department, University of Ghana. Okay. Good morning.
Oh, good morning, Randy. It look good.
But thank you. That's what the professor, they should take it from you. You don't get time to go and teach or publish.
Maybe one day I'll go back. You never know.
Oh, as for the going back there, say once a teacher, always a teacher.
Yeah, always a teacher. Yeah, one day I'll go back.
Okay, I don't know how soon, whether it's going to be in 5 months or in I don't know, but
one day mischief.
Doc.
Randy. The mischief maker. This game, you understand the game,
Your mentor, Kwekuba.
Yeah.
Okay. He says I'm mischief personified.
In fact, he's right. He's right.
You agree?
He's right.
Okay.
I agree with 100%.
Okay. Actually, we have asked you. Anyway, so also with me on the show this morning is the Honourable Member of Parliament for the Tamale North Constituency, Alhaji Alhassan Suhini. Alhaji, good morning.
Good morning, boss. How are you doing?
By the special grace of God, I'm doing very well.
Mashallah. They say.
Did you perform Hajj again?
No.
Okay.
I did Hajj in 2014. I haven't been to Hajj again.
So
I do Umrah, yes.
But you do the Umrah?
Yes, I do Umrah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I was just listening to you and Doc, and what crossed my mind was that it takes a mischievous mind to identify a mischievous comment.
Are you addressing Abdul Malik?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let's say the mentee and the mentor are both addressed here. Because you see, when you suggested that he might return to the classroom, you don't know the time frame between 4, 5 months or 6. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will be surprised at his reaction because he got it. But he reacted that way because he got it.
You see how you spin it?
Yes. Yes. Anyway, okay. So there's a toothpaste made specifically for the family. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority, and it's also very affordable. It's the recommended family toothpaste, and it's called Kel 360 toothpaste. It provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. Kel 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint gives you fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. It's another product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso. Is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. Call Samara Company on 0246 864 798. Kel 360 toothpaste. Happy smile. And enjoying the fruits of your labor is as important as enjoying the mansions of your labor. The pains of climbing the stairs when not exercising could be challenging irrespective of your age. But worry no more. Lift and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It's affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono or just call them on 0200 535 or send a mail to elevatorsgh@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. Now, I have some information from the Institute of Paralegal Training and Leadership Studies for you. Because the Institute, that's the Institute of Paralegal Training and Leadership Studies, in collaboration with the Ghana National Association of ADR Practitioners and ADR International Register, an ISO certified body, is offering internationally recognized industry-driven conflict resolution and other specialized courses as follows. So the first one is the Professional Executive Master in Alternative Dispute Resolution. The second is a Professional Executive Masters in General Paralegal Studies. The third one is a Professional Executive Master in Chieftaincy Law and Sustainable Development Practice. Then there is the Professional Executive Master in Industrial and Labor Relations and Practice. And there's the Professional Executive Master in family law and conflict resolution. And they have an exceptional team of facilitators who are well versed in their subject areas and are ready to equip participants with the skills they need to influence industry in the right direction. Individuals trained in ADR by this institute qualifies you for admission into the prestigious membership of the Ghana National Association of ADR Practitioners. For admission, you can call the Institute of Paralegal Studies on 0303 960 798 0303 960 798. And you can also WhatsApp them on 0509 634027 0509 634027 or email ipls.edu.gh@gmail.com ipls.edu.gh@gmail.com. All right. Interestingly, my first professional master's was in ADR. Okay, I don't remember when, but that's just about it. Okay, so MP for Mensia South gets the nod. I can tell you're extremely excited.
Yeah, I think I am.
You think or you know?
Both.
He's trying to contain the excitement.
That's why I use the word think, right? That's my guy.
So, I mean, after all said and done, it looks like the dust is settled. It's Napo.
Yeah.
And we're told that there was a Zoom meeting between the Vice President and the President. And the Vice President informed the President about his choice. And this decision is going to be communicated to the National Council. And once there are no objections, then Napo becomes a running mate to Alhaji Bawumia. So here we're talking about due process, but if you look at the papers and all that, they consider it a fait accompli.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so Randy, very good morning to your good self, Suhini, a colleague, and your cherished and revered viewers, and those who are also listening via other mediums. And good morning also to my constituents, Kwadaso constituency, and
my mother-in-law.
Yeah, who lives at the Suyabo, where their roads are tarred.
Davy Comfort.
Yeah, so and all those who are watching us this morning. So Randy, yes, Dr. Matthew Opoku Pempe, and Napo, and I think that I need to use this medium to congratulate him and the Vice President, the flag bearer, who is most likely going to be our next president for the choice he has made. And I think that this is a very good choice. You know, those who are in contention for this enviable position, I think about 5 or so. 4 of them are members of parliament. They are all deserving to...
Who are these 4?
Oh, I heard of my very good friend and brother, Brad Champon, Esla Usu Ekufu, my boss, Education Minister, Dr. Oseyo Aduchum. These are fine brains. They are very good persons. And given the opportunity, I think any of them would have been able to acquit themselves diligently on the job. But in this life, I've come to realize that God doesn't make mistakes. And if you are destined for something, it comes to you. You work hard, you do your best, and God will do the rest. That's been my philosophy in life, so I don't fight and push for things. You only do what you have to do. The rest will come to you. And if you listen around if you also observe, you realize that Matopoku Pempe's name was almost everywhere. He's a grassroots person. He's served the party for a very long time. And I remember, those times, even in the early 90s, he was a student leader on the campus of KN University. Randy, he has done a lot for the party. So for Dr. Bawumia to choose him means that he's seeing the gem in him and what he can do. Randy, the process was long. And one thing I like about Dr. Bawumia is that he takes his time to decide. He consults a lot. He consults widely to arrive at what he thinks is the best, for him. And those who are leading his campaign, they are very experienced persons, with expertise in politics, and they're also grassroots persons. Look at Dambotre, for example. If Dambotre is part, of your campaign architecture, if McMenu is part of it, if Nakomia is part of it, and others, Randy, it will be difficult for them to make a mistake in getting the right person for the job. You said there's a excitement on my face. It's true. It's not necessarily about the person of Napo. I'm quite close to him, but it's about the party. I always do things, first and foremost, by looking at the party's interest. That's one thing that Napo told me. If you look at the party's constitution, it talks about the party's interest. What is good for the party. So those times when I was supporting Dr. Bawumia, it was about the party's interest. But I knew that at this material moment, Dr. Bawumia was the person who will be able to lead us for the first time in winning elections back to back on 2 occasions. I had that conviction. So I supported him. I gave my all to be with him. And for him to choose Napo is a grassroots person. Some of us, Randy, I go to Kumasi almost every weekend. So if I decide to say that this is what I think is likely going to happen, Randy, you realize that most of my choices, I don't get them wrong. In the political circles, if I say that you are likely going to get this position, Randy, before I say that, I will have done my background checks. I've done everything. And when I'm convinced that this is how it's going to go, Randy, it's difficult for it to fail. At this moment, it's not about Napo, it's about our flag bearer. It's about Dr. Bawumia. Napo is only going to support him, but the focus is on Dr. Bawumia. We are going to serve Dr. Bawumia. We are going to espouse his strength, his abilities, his capabilities, his visions. This is what we are going to do. Napo will also bring, some strength. But I would advise our party, rank and file, that the focus should largely be on Dr. Bawumia, because Randy, he is the person whose face is going to be on the ballot. The role of Napo is going to be complementary to what he, the flag bearer, stands for. And those who also wanted this position that they didn't get, I want to, wish them the very best. We must all come together. Because at the end of the day, it's about the party. All those who know me within the party, knew where I stood. But if he had not even gone that direction, for me, Rwanda is the party. The party is foremost. The party is the ultimate. The party is number one. That's what all of us have to do. So, I'm happy for Napo. He's come this far. And I hope that he would acquit himself excellently so that the confidence that the good people of this country and the party have reposed in him will bear fruit one day. I mean, Dr. Bawumia is a very quiet type. He's cool, he's moderate, deeply intelligent. But the Poko Pempe, he's tough. He's very intelligent. And I'm sure they'll be compatible. Napo, if you see Napo, people say that Napo is this or that. Randy, he's a tough guy, he's intelligent, he's hardworking. Because I've worked with him, for some years. Very hardworking. And he's somebody who needs nothing but results. He's a go-getter. So he will get us the results. Don't forget that in 2012, he led the research, outfit of our campaign, national campaign, 2012 elections. So the experience is there, and he will be able to help us to, get the job done. So Napo, I wish you the very best. I know this is the doing of God, and He will help you to support Dr. Bawumia to make history. He's made the first history for being the first Muslim to be elected by a major political party in this country as the flag bearer. I'm a Christian, I'm a Deeper Life member. But Randy, I decided to support Dr. Bawumia. For me, it is not about the religion, it is about the competence that I've seen in him. The competence, okay? And Ghanaians, it also tells me that now we are upholding the essence of diversity in our society. So regardless of where you come from, regardless of your creed, your religious inclination, regardless of your socioeconomic status, if you are competent, Ghanaians have shown that they will stand with you and by you. That's why I decided to, one of the reasons why I decided to, support him. Because one day now, the barriers have been broken. So if some years back, you thought that because of your socioeconomic status, your religious affiliation, you didn't have a stake in the development of this country by occupying certain positions, the election of Dr. Bawumia by the NPP should tell you that the party is a diversified party. The party, embraces every Tom, Dick, and Harry. The party respects every, segment of our society. That is what, Randy, this has demonstrated. And getting my brother and friend, Napo, at that level, I'm happy and I'm proud. And I know that Napo will never disappoint. He will never disappoint. I know this man. I know his heart. I know his mind. I know what he can do. He will never disappoint. And Randy, maybe the last thing. In this life, everybody has a weakness. Everybody has a limitation. So I always go for the strength that I see in people. The strength. That's what matters. You cash in on people's strength. Okay. Those issues about arrogance, about him, they are never true. They are unfounded. They were just, spurious allegations that were leveled against him. Suwini and I were in Parliament, and we know him. Napo is one of those who are very friendly when it comes to the House. One day, you've known him for some time, When people are forthright in their thoughts, when they are resolute in their decisions, in this country, you'll be tagged and labeled. But that might not be the reality on the ground. So I wish him well again. And as I said earlier on, those who wanted the position but couldn't make it, they should understand that in this life, everything happens for a reason. If you are looking for something that and that you didn't get it, it could mean that at that particular moment, that thing was not yours. And at best, probably one day, it might be yours. So they shouldn't give up. They should still, fight for the party and ensure that the party, retains power in 2024. And they should understand that, again, Randy, in this game, you need to uphold certain principles, right? And I'm sure my boss, Otasia Aduchum, very fine brain, I know him. I know he knows my position, in this whole contest. But when I went to the ministry, he related well with me, we had discussions and all that. And I'm thinking that the support that he has, the support that Brian has, and others, they will bring them to the doorsteps of Dr. Bawumia. And Randy, on your platform today, I'm telling you that Ghanaians will make Dr. Bawumia president of this country. January 7, 2025. I'm telling you, Randy. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. I'm telling you. Because you see, Randy, you've done research. And it's, at times, we go by the empirical, methods of doing research. Instincts also work, Instincts, those, you get knowledge from instincts and all that. And my instincts don't fail me.
But your empirical evidence are failing you.
I know how, but I told you Bawumia was going to be the flag bearer. At that time, people didn't believe it. If you are Ashanti region, when I said that Bawumia was going to win there, they would say Allah was going to win. But Randy, when I go there, I know how I do my survey on the ground. I know how I do things. I won't disclose how I do some of these things. You might not see me carrying data, okay? But we have ways of gauging the psyche and the minds of the people through some informal surveys that we do around. And I'm telling you, he's shaving like a summer butterfly when I said that.
When the professor relies a lot more on his instincts than
I didn't say. You see, when I talk about Randy's mischief,
Oh.
You see, he's saying a lot more. When I didn't say a lot more, I said that my instincts don't fail me. Why did you bring in a lot more on that? You see, because he's smart, he's trying to downplay what I said. But Randy,
I can't downplay that. I mean, your instincts are your instincts.
Yeah.
It's only an observation.
Unfortunately, I don't have it.
You are not talking about your data. You are talking about your
instincts. And contest your instincts.
So that is why instincts are unverified way of getting knowledge. But I'm saying that it is also part of, knowledge acquisition.
No, I only find it remarkable that a professor, yes, is relying heavily on instinct.
You and your ways. A lot more, and not heavily.
Anyway, yes.
Randy, I think I will conclude on this, and I will admonish my very good friend and brother, Mateo Poko Pempe Napo, to be focused, to be circumspect, to be measured, okay, to endear himself to the people, should go down there, okay, as he's been doing, and all the misconceptions about him, he should do his best to, discard them or throw them off. And I believe in him, and I know that he will deliver. Thank you.
Are you going to the office from here or going to Parliament?
I have a meeting at CTVET.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So from there, I think today probably is 3 p.m., right?
At the ministry, which of the portfolios are you responsible for?
TVET.
So you are deputy minister in charge of TVET.
TVET, yeah.
You're two deputies, right?
Sure, yeah. So Reverend Tim Fojo is general education. So largely, I'm a pre-tertiary. So TVET institutions.
So who's responsible for tertiary?
Tertiary, we have a director who's in charge of tertiary. But part of my roles fall within tertiary because of the technical universities coming in. So they fall within my purview. Yeah, and I think the minister hinted me that complementary education agency, formerly non-formal. I mean, he wanted to add it to
your portfolio.
Yeah, and I think that is also a very good area.
What's the first thing you would tell your minister when you see him today?
Oh, in fact, he's a gentleman, and I wish him well. I've had this kind of a thing before,
Now, when you see him today, what's the first thing you tell him?
When I see him today, I can't manufacture what I'm going to say, but when I meet him, I know what I'm going to tell him. But I'm sure he's cool. I don't think this was a do or die for him. I don't think he wanted this at all costs. I think as a politician, he knows that it could be any other person, and he'll accept what has happened and support NAPO and the flag bearer to help us to win the elections again.
All right. Okay. So Alhaji has been looking at you. Yeah. I don't want to describe.
I think he will support all that I said.
Yeah. Okay. So Alhaji support, please.
I can imagine the uncomfortable position that my friend Dr. Nyako finds himself in.
So he's a tough man.
Yes.
You know what he's been through the last
I can
6
imagine.
years.
I can imagine. I mean, here you are with your boss, interested in a slot, but your preferred candidate is your boss's avowed opponent. In fact, of all those contesting, from deductions as an observer, came to the conclusion that the rivalry between the two, I think, was higher than, all other people who were also vying for this position. So I can imagine, the eggshells that he might have had to walk on in the last couple of months. But I'm happy for him.
I'll tell you a funny thing.
Yes.
When this the fourth estate story about the internet for schools, the 80-something million. I know the story came with a picture of the current education minister, Dr. Duchum.
Yes.
Then somebody associated with him just came on social media, and his only comment was, "Why have you put his picture? The contract was signed in 2018. He wasn't the minister." And I said, "Wow."
Yeah, I can assure you that things will get interesting in the coming days. Now let me reset and start properly by exchanging pleasantries as we usually do. Good morning, Doc, and good morning, boss. Let me say good morning to our viewers, especially the very good people of the Tamale North constituency. And Randy, this morning I want to start by congratulating the former First Lady and inshallah the incoming First Lady, Lordina Mahama, for the tireless job that she continues to do, not only in support of her husband, but also to support vulnerable in our society with the Lordina Foundation. I mean, when he was in power and used the Lordina Foundation to support very vulnerable people in our society, all manner of unpredictable things were said about, her desire to support the vulnerable and needy in our society. And people thought that it was only motivated by the office that she occupied. Since she went into opposition, she has continued to do that. And it is quite strange that those questions that were asked of her foundation are not asked of similar foundations championed by relatives of the current president, including the wife and all of that. But that's for another discussion. I just want to congratulate her for, what she has done this last couple of weeks. Before the Eid al-Adha celebration, she was in Northern Region, where she met with, all 18 constituency executives of the NDC in the Northern Region and supported them heavily to celebrate Eid al-Adha, and also thank them and encourage them to keep up the good work that they have been doing for the NDC. Only this week also she's in Nkranza supporting widows, supporting hairdressers and dressmakers with some items that will make life easier for them. And I just want to thank her and congratulate her for maintaining that momentum when it comes to supporting the vulnerable in our society. Randy, as for the choice of Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Napo as the running mate of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I'll say, like we were deceived when we were redenominating our city, that the value is the same. I mean, I wonder the impact that it's going to make on the fortunes of the New Patriotic Party come December 7. We say Dukadaya in Hausa. I mean, you have a floundering, flag bearer, and you have a notoriously arrogant and disrespectful, running mate. That is, if it is finally confirmed. I don't doubt the sources that have published the news so far, but I'm just curious that no official or formal source.
I think it's because the due process has not been completed.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I don't underestimate or doubt the sources so far, but I'm curious that no official, source has made a comment on it yet. And I just hope that they will fast track whatever consultation process they have to undertake and announce the name.
Are you aware of when the National Council will meet?
I'm not aware.
Okay.
Yeah, and announce the name. I mean, for me, like I said, it's not going to change anything that much because Napo is known. He's been in our politics for a very long time. And unlike his opposite number in the NDC, if he is finally confirmed, he's not been without scandals. I mean, the running mate of the NDC, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajiman, occupied the education ministry, left the ministry squeaky clean without any controversy or any strong scandal about her, work there as Minister of Education. On the other hand, Napo's tenure is replete with scandals that are yet to be properly investigated and concluded upon. And you just made reference to one, where even within the same party, the blame shifting was apparent in the struggle to be nominated as the running mate. So the schools were supposed to be provided with internet services, contracts signed, payments made, and yet no internet is being provided in these schools. And I remember the last time I was on this set when we discussed the report, which revealed, that the students were shortchanged. The school administration did not have the internet that they were supposed to have and all of that. And yet the company that is supposed to have provided this service got paid fully. And that's just one of many, many scandals in just one ministry that he has occupied in the last 6 years or so. So it's going to be quite interesting. I mean, if you go to the education ministry, we have the mathematical sets, contracts scandal, which has not been thoroughly investigated and settled yet. The BNI picking up some people and home arrests and all that. It hasn't been settled properly, and that was under his watch. Then you talk about training of 40,000 teachers by the World Bank. which was supposed to have cost us $1.2 million, that, was not done, but the money's spent. Again, you have a uniforms contract. In fact, that has not even hit the headlines that much yet, which was also under his supervision as education minister. So as for Matthew Opoku Prempeh, the fact that he is well known, it's going to add very little to the floundering campaign of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And like I said, he is known as somebody associated with these scandals that we will go into further when the announcement is formally made. That is only in the education ministry. I have not even gone to the energy ministry yet. And putting him up against another former minister, same ministry, without any record of a scandal, is going to be a mismatch. And that is why I maintain that his choice is, like we say in Hausa, Dukadaya. I mean, he and his flag bearer are all not going to bring any spark, to the failing campaign of the New Patriotic Party as far as this year's general election is concerned. I have nothing personally against Napo. I did not, have a favorite in the contest for running mate slot within the NPP because I did not see how any choice was going to change the price of Kenke that is now being sold in some cases at 7 cedis per ball. I did not see how the choice of anybody was going to improve the dollar. I mean, the cedi against the dollar. I did not see how any of them, the choice of any of them was going to improve the strength of the cedi against the dollar, which is now exchanging about 15 Ghana cedis to a dollar. I did not see how any of them was going to improve upon the inflation that is not only in the books, but that is felt on the market on a daily basis. The price of tomato, the price of pepper, the price of gari, and all of that. I don't see how any choice of a running mate will significantly impact the devastation that our senior high schools are faced with as a result of mismanagement and neglect by the authorities that be, even to a point where when we are approaching BEC exams, we are unsure whether we will postpone the date or will maintain the date because we owe WAEC. And in fact, I was scandalized when I got a letter from my director of education, my district director of education, requesting me to fund or to help fund BEC exams as a member of parliament. And I was like, what has happened to the allocations that are usually made for these exercises? No, in fact, later we're told that that's when they were contemplating whether to postpone the exams or not. The directors were asked to seek help from philanthropic organizations and other individuals who were willing to support them. I mean, scandalous, but that's where we are. And I don't see how the choice of anyone as running mate to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is going to improve that or change that reality that we are faced with. And I have said it on this platform, Randy, and I'll repeat it again, that as much as the tolerance level of the people of Ghana, especially the youth, can sometimes be very frustrating, I think it is commendable, especially because of what we are seeing or hearing from Kenya. I mean, some of the things that we have tolerated as a people in this country cannot, be compared to the things that the youth of Kenya have refused to tolerate. In fact, the things we have tolerated pale into insignificance if you look at the reasons why the youth of Kenya, besieged their parliament and have refused to leave the streets in some cases. But I am hopeful that our restraint is based on our hope that we have an opportunity come December to rescue our nation and to put it back on the track of growth and progress. That is, I believe, the reason why our youth and our young people are quite restrained. And I hope that the anger, the disappointment, the dejection, the hopelessness will all be channeled into the December elections that will cause the change that we need to spur the growth of this country and the rebuilding of this country. But I repeat that as for Napo, he is a man who has died in the market, like ABBEY Hussein will say. And so his funeral needs no announcement. It was always expected that he was going to eventually be named, given the quarters from where his support emerged. I mean, we, for example, were told that Manshia, was strongly in support of his candidature. And I mean, like dog who has abandoned data and dwelling on instinct, watching the developments, my instincts based on the support that I was seeing emerge from Manshia, convinced me that he was always going to be the possible running mate. But like I have said, no impact, no significant impact. Dukadaya, the value is the same. He is a known commodity. He is arrogant. He is disrespectful. And the verdict is out there. I mean, when we asked for a Dumsor timetable, he first of all told us all to go do our own Dumsor timetable if we so cared about it. He couldn't give a toss as to how we were impacted negatively by the power situation. We could all go skewing our pig-headedness for all he cared. I mean, for him, he was enjoying his largesse as minister, and he didn't have a time to provide us with a timetable. And if we cared that much, we could go do our own timetable, only for him to come back later to insult our intelligence by telling us that, oh, it's not Dumsor, it's actually Dumsiesie. You don't understand what we are taking you through. I mean, that is Napo for you. And this is just one of many. In fact, when there was the sea defense project at Keita, you remember, and government, the people of Keita, the MP and others complained and requested government intervention. You recall what he said, the tidal waves. You recall what he said. In fact, he pledged at the time that if government made any allocation for that project, he was going to demonstrate in this country. True to his words, the project is still, abandoned, as if the people of Keita and Volta region do not pay taxes or they do not belong to Ghana. He took, for want of a better word, we'll call it bigotry, to that level where he pledged publicly that if any allocation was made to that project that was aimed at helping people affected by tidal wave, he was going to demonstrate, against his own government. And maybe he knows where he went and what he did. Because as a result of that threat, as we speak, no allocation has ever been made for that project. And so the people of Keita still are at the mercy of these tidal waves. And as for the scandals, like I said, we will wait for the formal, announcement. So we can go into the mathematical set scandal at the Education Ministry. We'll go into the uniforms scandal. We'll go into the training of 40,000 teachers scandal that cost us about $1.2 million. We'll go into the internet that were to be provided senior high schools, for which full payment has been made, but we have nothing to show. And then Eka Energy and others will all come up. But for now, we will await the formal announcement and hope that Doc and Co. will be preparing to respond to some of these issues, especially given the fact that he's going up against another person who has served in a similar ministry, the Ministry of Education, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, and came out squeaky clean, remains very respectable in society, has remained very humble, and, has endeared herself not only to the people of Ghana, but even people in the international community. So it's going to be some exciting days when he is formally announced as the running mate to the floundering flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
Yes, sir.
Wendy, in this political game, my focus always has been on vision, ideas, and how we can make the country better. For me, it's not about personal attacks. Those things don't benefit anybody. Somebody has been nominated. The person is our colleague. Now, the next process, according to our Constitution, Article 13, will be duly done. But you don't sit here to discredit the person by parading baseless accusations and scandals about the person. That is unfair. Because you are on the appointment committee. When Napo appeared before the committee, the issue of the mindset came and he provided explanation. So if at that time you were not satisfied with the explanation, why didn't you bring it up? These matters had been dealt with in the House. You know what I mean? So I mean, you've been unfair to him. So if that is how you guys want the campaign to go, then we must all be prepared to do that. Personal attacks, personality issues, we have to be very careful because we are preparing the ground for us to muddy the waters, which I, in Sinakon, wouldn't fall for. Because those things wouldn't make our country better. It's about the ideas. Assuming Napo is endorsed by the National Council, the question is, can he do the job? The issue, this Wi-Fi service scandal by whom? Somebody has done their investigation and they've issued a report. Last week when I was here, Randy, I offered some explanation to the best of my ability. I went and met the minister again, and he said that the ministry is preparing a response to address the issues raised by the Fourth Estate, that nothing untoward had happened. Honorable Aduchum wouldn't sit there and effect payment for services not done. He won't do that. And we made the point clear here. BEC, you are aware that 47 million cedis, has been given to WAEC to prepare for the students to write. In fact, on Thursday, they said they wanted 48 million cedis one day. And this has been provided. WAEC has issued a statement and said that they are ready to write the exams. In fact, on the 8th of July, BEC is going to be written. Nothing will prevent the examination from being written. So please, don't sit here and heighten the fears of parents as if, and the students, that this will not happen. They're going to write the exam. Napo is not arrogant. Napo is not disrespectful. You know what I mean? You don't say this about your own colleague. That when you meet him in parliament, you know what I mean? You are nice with each other. Then you come and sit here and say that he's arrogant and disrespectful. I mean, this is completely really not fair. You know, I cannot say sad things about you. So please, I'll be happy if you do us a favor by retracting these unfortunate comments that you made by a very good and kind man, Matopoku Pempe. Napo is not a bigot. Please. Napo made a statement, I remember, on Asempa FM. But please, that was not a bigotry comment. He said that he will not allow that the sea defense wall to be built. He said that. But that doesn't amount.
That if the people of Manchia were threatened by tidal waves, would he have said that?
That doesn't amount to bigotry. Okay? He made that pronouncement based within a certain context that he felt was right. But that doesn't mean that Napo is a bigot. And you know that Napo cannot be a bigot.
I don't know.
You know, in fact, some of my friends in NDC even told me long time ago that Napo would be the running mate. It was like a common knowledge. People were saying it. You know what I mean? So, and you even knew it. You've just said here that it was going to happen. So why are you now trying to, you see, me, when you start saying that, you start attacking somebody's person, it tells me that you are afraid of the person.
That's not, Randy,
No,
Randy,
I'm saying
I
that
did not,
it tells me,
no
that you are afraid of that person. Talk about the person's track record. Talk about the free senior high school that he spearheaded when he was the Minister for Education. Talk about that. That was a novel intervention. Talk about that. Talk about what they did to ensure that our colleges of education offered a degree program. Talk about that. Talk about the laudable things he did. The trimester program at the University of Ghana to ensure that students with diploma.
Please clarify something for me.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that until Napo became the Minister of Education, the College of Education didn't offer degree programs?
It was diploma.
They never offered.
Yes, so 2018 was when it started. I was at that time heading the National Acquisition Board. So we work on the curricular and accreditation. We work on that. You know what I mean? So these are some of the things, Napo did as a Minister for Education. Most interventions, the infrastructural expansion that were done were when he was the Minister for Education. You know what I mean? So in Napo's time, I don't want to start comparing for some reasons, but when we start a campaign, we will look at Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajiman's track record and that of Dr. Matthew Opoku Pempe. We compare that, but I will indulge you. I will implore you that the personal attacks must stop. That is completely unfair. It doesn't inure to anybody's benefit. You don't mar the credibility of somebody because of your political position. If I did same to Jena now you wouldn't happy about that. Training of teachers scandal. I've never heard that before. Issues were raised, but no scandal happened when those teachers were being trained because of the preparation of the standard-based curriculum. Nothing of that nature, my brother, happened. So let us get our facts, right before, putting them across into the public domain. For me, Randy, as I sit here, you rightly said, the fact that Napo has been selected doesn't mean that those who didn't get the note didn't qualify. Okay? You raised an issue about my minister. Okay? Nothing personal that he didn't get it. If Dr. Duchum had been given the note, I would still have been very happy because he's a party person. He has the capacity to also help our party to make gains. That's it. You want the best for the country. Okay? So Dr. Bawumia, in his heart of hearts and in his mind, feels that at this material moment that we find ourselves in, this is the person that he feels will be able to partner him effectively to help the party win again, to continue the good services we are providing for the good people of this country. So, Randy, I think I'll end here and also thank my regional chairman, Chairman Wontumi and all those who have been in this game and ensure that at long last we are nearing the end of determination of the running mate to our flag bearer.
All right, thank you.
You see,
Yes.
Randy, the thing about bigotry, racism, apartheid, Nazism, is that people who were or are associated with it always think they mean well. They always assume that their position is for the best of society, and they hardly recognize, the act as it is when they are engaged in it. So I'm not surprised. But I wonder why Doc thinks that speaking about Napo's track record that is negative amounts to personally attacking him. When in one breath he says, let's talk about the person's track record. But then he goes to look at the track record or those that he considers track record that are favorable. And maybe I should call that personal praise. But when I identify his track record, because that's what I'm speaking about, it's not about personally attacking him. When I speak of the notion, which is backed by evidence of his own conduct, that he's arrogant, it is his track record. Speak to former student leaders who had the unpleasant pleasure of, engaging with him when he was Minister of Education. Speak to CTAC leaders, PRIMCOF leaders. Speak to all of them. They will tell you that it is not just a perception, but it is real. And in fact, you can still check online. Sometimes it's not even what is said. It is the tone, it is the manner, it is the disdain in the voice that is used to say it. Go do your own timetable. I mean, another person could have said that, a similar thing, but it would have come across in a more humble manner than he did. So you cannot mask these things. And it is not an attack. It is not an unfair vilification. It is just a recount of his track record. You are urging us to do. It's his track record. He said those things. He asked us to publish our timetable. Is that not his track record? When we ask for a Dumsor timetable to plan our lives and plan our businesses. It's his track record. He, like you have confirmed here, said he was opposed to allocating budgetary funds to the construction of a sea defense wall in Keta to save people from tidal waves. That's his track record, though. It's his track record. He said that. You have confirmed it here. And he had his reasons for saying so. So if I recount it, it's not a personal attack. It is what it is.
Doesn't make him a bigot.
No. Well, like I said, for want of a better word, it came across to me as bigotry.
But that's not.
Yes, so you can disagree with me, but that's an opinion I express. And that's why I said, for want of a better word, I see it to seem like bigotry. You can disagree with me, and you are entitled to do that. I respect that. But I'm saying that from where I sit and how I examine it, it comes across as if it was motivated by bigotry. You can disagree. Now, if I talk about the mathematical sets, the uniforms, the training of 40,000 teachers, if I talk about the internet in the schools, these were all, things that were done under his tenure as Minister of Education. That is his track record. That is not personal attack. It is recounting his track record. And so I am simply doing what you are doing. But perhaps maybe in your case, you see only what you suggest to be positives. But we are looking at the stage we are as a country and the character and the attitude and the discipline of the men and women we will need to take us out of, our current predicament. The tolerance of a leader the humility of a leader, the patience of a leader, the appreciation that we are all in this boat called Ghana together. And your brother's, predicament should concern you as much as it concerns your brother, even if you come from different parts of the country. That is the kind of leadership that we need going forward. And I am of the view that, look, based on some of these things, APO does not provide that unity of purpose. Just like his boss to be, if he is formally announced, who also preaches on religious sentimentalism, I think that the two don't seem to appreciate and understand where we are as a country and the need for us all to come together, put our hands on deck, de-emphasize our differences, our naturally born differences, because nobody chooses to be born in the Volta region, in Keta. Nobody chooses to be born in Manshia. It is by destiny that you are either born in Manshia or you are born in Keta. But we are affected commonly by the things that affect our country. And you want leaders at this time to appreciate that. Unfortunately, I'm saying, based on, what he has done in the past, what his soon-to-be boss has been doing, they simply do not understand the kind of leadership that we need at this time. That is why I am saying that Dukadaya, look, the value is the same. No matter who is chosen, especially if it is Napo eventually, it is not going to significantly change the fate of the youth who remain unemployed. It's not going to change the fate of the importer who has to get more CDs to exchange the dollars and bring in lesser goods than he or she uses to. It's not going to make any impact on the business of that fellow. It's not going to make any impact on the farmer who, as we speak this morning, is struggling to find a tractor to, plow a 2-acre or 3-acre land, even though he's willing to pay for that services. It's not going to make any impact on the market woman who has gone to the market for 2 or 3 days now, but has not been able to sell enough, to even meet the transportation required to transport his goods and wares. So, for me, the choice will not make any significant impact. And recounting some of the reasons why I think Napo's choice is,
you did already.
Is not going to make any impact.
You did already, but
I'm saying just going through his track record. There's no personal attack.
That is done, but I'm saying that.
Let's take a break and continue. Okay. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. And if you just joined us, still with me on the show, I have Dr. Kingsley Nyaku and Alhaji Alhassan Suhini. And my commiserations goes out to you, Mr. Makado, Vice President of the Ghana Football Association. You are laying your mother to rest today. So the services at the ICGC, and of course, the final funeral rites will be at the Underbridge, Islegon. That's happening from this morning. So our commiserations to you, Mr. Makado, Vice President of the Ghana Football Association. Okay. Ayesuku, that could somewhat be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control of every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply, and it's not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for about 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It's indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. You can reach Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. Okay, gentlemen, let's wrap up on this. Yes.
So I'm confident that if or when National Council approves the nomination of Dr. Matopego Prempeh, he will be a very good partner to our flag bearer. And together, they will help us to, win the election with their visions and implement them to the benefits of the citizens. Randy, we all know that the economy is not as we wish it to be. If you also have been following the news in Kenya, you realize that the demonstrations turned bloody and about 13 Kenyans died, according to the Medical Association, even though reports from the Human Rights Commission put the number to about 23. And I think the demonstrations were as a result of the tax hikes that were contained in the financial bill that was brought before Parliament. And that's why we have been saying that the current global economy is not conducive to every country. Citizens are agitating because of the difficulties that they find themselves in. And as much as the government, led by Nana Akufo-Addo and his Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, appreciate the difficulties we are going through, Randy, we need to also understand that, or bear with government regarding interventions that we put in place to help address these issues. What is going on in Kenya should tell us that it is not in this country alone that we are going through these difficulties. The tax hikes were stated because of the difficulties that they are going through in terms of the dwindling nature of their revenue, trying to get more monies to execute programs that the government thought could benefit the citizens. But some of the taxes that were imposed on them were so high, so they fought that. What I'm pleading with Ghanaians is that this economy has not been mismanaged. We were unlucky that we found ourselves in this situation based on largely external factors. Thank God, even though we've been going through debt restructuring. I know you don't agree, but those who are watching, who agree with me.
Who doesn't? In fact, these days, isn't it all ridiculous that we continue to cite these external factors, and yet you had the president go and sit before the Ukrainian president for help?
I'm saying that what is happening in Kenya is a testament to the global harsh economic environment within which we find ourselves in. And nobody can wish away what I'm saying because that is a fact. However, I'm saying that we are not happy about the difficulties that we are going through. However, we've done some things that will help us to come back to levels that we feel will help lessen the pains we are going through.
If Ghana were Kenya, what is happening in Kenya would have happened in Ghana.
I said that
3 years or 4 years.
I said that earlier.
Randy,
I can
the tolerance of our people.
I'm not saying that I want that to happen.
It's commendable.
That's not what I mean. But I'm saying that if you contextualize the Kenyan thing, you put it within the context of a global economic situation and use that as an excuse for what is happening in Ghana. If I show you the data, and I can put it right there, a comparison between Kenya and Ghana. If you look at the economic performance of the two countries, and the fact that the Kenyans, irrespective of their relatively better performance than Ghana, are out there on the streets doing what they are doing. And in fact, to show you that it's not just about the taxes, even with what President Ruto announced yesterday,
the people
they say that it is not enough.
It.
They actually want him out.
That's where they are going next.
Randy, thank God Ghana is not Kenya.
Right.
And we also
and Kenya is not a globe.
We respect Ghanaians and their patience and their continuous confidence in the leadership of Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia. Randy, you just said that Kenya is performing better than us because of the figures. Are these the figures you're talking about?
Yeah, these are some economic indicators that
Randy,
you can compare to.
When I read Ruto yesterday,
yes,
he said that what they're going to do differently is to abandon. He's not going to sign the financial bill into law.
Yes.
However, he is going to ensure that there are cuts in expenditure by the presidency, and also pleading with the judiciary and also parliament to do same. These measures, this government has taken already.
Which one?
Our government, the Ghanaian government.
Which measures?
Reduction of salaries by ministers, by MMDCs, reduction in the fuel consumption in terms of fuel coupons. We've done all these things. Government has taken.
Chief, are you able to tell us how much of government expenditure those cuts resulted in?
But Randy,
was it 0.1%?
No.
0.5%?
Do you admit that these measures have been taken? Do you admit? First, do you admit?
Ministers,
no.
DC salaries reduced?
Yes.
When?
It was even announced by the president. It was even contained in our budget. Randy, you are aware that 2 years ago.
No. Which category of ministers? Because you and I know that ministers who are parliamentarians.
No, my point is
please.
No, my point
don't think that you're not aware. I'm saying that
ministers' salaries have been reduced in this country.
Even announced these measures.
My point really is an issue of form over substance. Because you see, we know what government expenditure is. And fortunately, you are a professor, a teacher. Look, if expenditure is a problem, and we say that we want to tackle expenditure, yes, we can show the areas that we expect to cut that expenditure. But the most important thing is how much we expect to cut.
No,
it's not different.
No, it's a different level.
It's not different. That's why I said form over substance.
No, Randy, I disagree with you.
This issue of
Randy, you see, you were saying that the Kenyan government has done better than us. And if it were Ghana, the situation would have been worse.
I was just talking about economic performance, and I've shown you the indicators.
Yes. But the point I'm also making is that I listened to Ruto, and he said that he's going to embark on some cuts, on the expenditure or the budget at the presidency. And also suggesting that parliament and judiciary also, do same. But these measures have been taken here. I remember on your show.
Which did what? Those measures that were taken, what did they result in? What have they resulted in?
Randy,
has government expenditure decreased?
That's why I'm saying that your question is at a different level. Now you're asking me the quantum. How much impact has that?
Yes, how has that impacted a reduction in government?
But that doesn't mean that nothing of that nature has been done.
No, but if it is of no effect, if it's of no impact.
How do you sit here and say that it is of no effect?
I am here in Ghana. I don't see any significant reduction in government expenditure.
No, last week the same thing happened.
Will you show me something different?
Last week the same thing happened.
Yes.
When I quoted that the depreciation of the cedi, when we took over, was 1 to 4.75. You disagree with me, but you didn't provide any counter figure. Okay, I have gone to check.
Yes.
And on the 6th of January 2017, the cedi to the dollar depreciation was 1 to 1.43. The 1.7 was in March. So from the figure,
so what are you confirming? That what you said was not true?
No. I said 1 to 1.47, 1 to 4.7.
Yes.
But I'm saying that it was rather 1 to 4.3. However, the 4.7 was. But you didn't even tell me that it was maybe 1 to 3 or 1 to.
You are confirming that I was right by disputing your 1.47.
No, you were not right because you couldn't. If you had given a figure. It is possible that
I didn't have to give you a figure. You said 1.47 when you took over. You are now confirming that you've gone to check and your 1.47 was not correct.
No, I'm saying that. No.
What are you disagreeing with me about?
I'm saying that the 1.47 was in March, but 1.43 was on the 6th of January.
No, which statement did you make? You said when you took over. You took over was 1.47. When you went to check, what did you find?
But no, my problem with you is that.
Yes.
When you say that something is not true,
yes,
you should be able to give me a counter narrative.
The counter narrative is that it's not true.
But that is not.
And you have just confirmed
that is not final.
You have just confirmed that the counter narrative was correct.
If you had given a figure, that would make more sense because, for me, I can say that you didn't have that fact at that moment.
The fact is that the figure you mentioned that are disputed.
Has been proven
by yourself to be true.
No. If you had given, for example, if you had said it was 1.3, 1 to 3.0, that would have been different. But I'm putting it to you that you challenged my position. For all you know, you had a figure that was even far lesser than the 4.3.
You said that you put out a figure. I said it's not
true. So before,
you have confirmed that your check showed that your figure is not true.
No, so before you can tell me that Kenya is doing better than Ghana and that what happened or has happened in Kenya could have happened a long time in this country. I want you to produce.
I've just shown you. Please put the data back. Yes. Please put it back on the screen.
Then we can discuss and look at the details.
Please put the data back on the screen. I don't want to. Yes, that's it, please. You can look at it. These are just some indicators. You can look at, yes. So you can look at depreciation of the currency. You can look at inflation. You can look at unemployment rate. You can look at balance of trade, which is where we did better.
Which year is this?
I'm talking about current.
Depreciation of currency since January 2023.
You can look at debt to GDP. You can see all that, current.
Can we move on?
No, we cannot move on. So no. I appreciate these figures. But you must also, Randy, before you can interrogate these figures effectively, you must also be able to establish the context within which
they happen. Let me just add one. They use 60% of their total revenue for debt servicing. And this is a country that has not defaulted. In fact, as we speak, by the time this thing has happened, they've paid $2 billion of their debts. They have not gone into a DDEP. They have not declared bankruptcy. They have not defaulted on their debts.
Randy, put it back again. Yeah. Put it back again. So now, at least, balance of trade.
Yes,
we are doing better than them.
Yes.
Debt to GDP 2024, ours is 83.6. But I'm sure that with the space we've gotten regarding the conclusion of our bilateral, external bilateral debt restructuring, the inflows we've gotten, plus the debt cancellation of 4.7 billion, I'm sure it's going to have significant effect on our debt to GDP ratio.
Yes.
So hopefully
it will.
Yeah.
It will.
So hopefully,
but you will know.
Hopefully,
you will also. It will. But you will also
it will come down. I'm saying hopefully it will come down.
There's no doubt about that. But you will know that even when you make that comparison, this is not a country that has declared debt distress or bankruptcy or is not paying its debt. This is a country that is paying its debt. In fact, it has just paid $2 billion of its debt.
When last? Wait. When last did Kenya find herself with the IMF?
Oh, I'll have to check.
Yeah.
So I'm just speaking about current.
Yes. No, I'm saying that.
They haven't declared bankruptcy, even when they went to the IMF.
But Ghana is not bankrupt.
We declared bankruptcy.
Ghana is not bankrupt.
We declared bankruptcy in 2022. No. We did.
In November 2022. That's why we are.
We declared bankruptcy.
We are excited about postponing the payment of our debt with our external creditors only this week.
The fact that
they are saying we are not bankrupt. Then why are we not paying our debt?
The fact that we are doing debt restructuring doesn't mean that this country is bankrupt.
I can't pay my debt. What does it mean?
I'm saying that
I can no longer pay my debt. What does it mean?
It's external, but domestic.
We did.
No, I'm saying that we had issues with external debt.
Even domestic.
You've
forgotten that we did a DDP
even pensioners have had to undergo.
Randy,
you've forgotten that we did a domestic first.
Yes, I mean we've done that.
Yes,
we've done that. No, we did.
We declared bankruptcy before we did the restructuring.
Randy, I'm saying that if Ghana is bankrupt, Ghana wouldn't be able to pay salaries. Government wouldn't be able to embark on projects that we're embarking on. True, we've done domestic DDP. That is a fact. It helped us to get the space to be able to deal with our debt in relation to our tax. That was consuming about 40% of our tax revenue.
What was consuming 40%?
Our domestic debt was consuming about 40% of our tax revenue.
Okay.
So we decided to do the debt exchange so that we can postpone the payment of the near maturing debt to have the space to be able to still, embark on projects that we're supposed to. Recently, we've been able to engage our external bilateral creditors, and we've gotten some space. The fiscal space that we've gotten through the effective negotiation, in my view, will help us to be able to, lessen our debt profile. So our debt to GDP is going to come down. We'll be able to have some money to continue abandoned and stored projects. Randy, that will bring monies into the economy, okay? And some of these indicators that we see going up likely are going to come down. As we speak, the first quarter of this year, we'll be able to grow our economy by 4.7%. We found ourselves in distress. And you see, when we are comparing Kenya,
we don't find ourselves. We took ourselves in.
No, I'm saying that we found ourselves in distress. And Randy, what we did during the COVID-19 period might not be the same as what the Kenyans did. The expenditure that we incurred contributed to the situation within which we find ourselves now. We thought that it was better for us to spend to save lives and to protect livelihoods. That's what we did. And all these expenditures balloon our debts. I don't know what the Kenyans did. So before you tell me here, Kingsley, that the Kenyans are doing better than us, we need to go back 3-4 years and find out what they did when COVID happened. And again, we inherited an economy that was on an IMF program. That tells you that the economy was not robust. We came before COVID. We had done so well in terms of improving upon our macroeconomic indicators. The expenditure that we incurred and dwindling revenues that we had contributed in what we found ourselves in. So that's what I'm saying. We need to contextualize what led to the figures in Kenya and ours before we come to a certain meaningful conclusion.
What led to
you cannot just look at it on the face value. Now it looks good. No, their figures look good. But I'm saying that we need to situate that within a certain environment, a certain contextual environment, to be able to say that.
So, Prof.
But wait. Okay. Let's go on this. Okay. When I'm doing research, before you can say A cause B, and it's a relational study, you need to control some variables. Until you've been able to control certain extenuating variables, it will be difficult for you to conclude that A cause B. Difficult. So let us control all these variables. Let's look at the context. Okay? Then, when we take them, we partial them out, then we can say that, Kenya is better than Ghana. But I want to plead with Ghanaians, especially the youth, that they should have faith in this administration. We found ourselves in difficult terrain, and we share in the pains of Ghanaians. And these difficulties are being resolved. Nana Akufo-Addo and his government are resolving their issues. The interventions we've rolled out have also contributed in our debt burden. We spend so much money on free senior high school. We spend so much money on retooling, TVET and making TVET very attractive. Randy, road constructions that are going on, we spend so much money in these areas. We are talking about unemployment going up. But Randy, at least I know that this administration has been able to create some jobs. The jobs might not be enough to meet every youth or citizen looking for jobs. But our job creation track record is better than the job creation track record that was done under your administration. The programs we roll out, all of them have been able to create jobs. The national identification card created jobs. You go to every district, we have staff working there, job creation. The ambulance service that we roll out, you go to every constituency, jobs have been created there. The drone delivery system, jobs have been created there. The panel for food and jobs have been created there. You know what I mean? This is one factory, jobs have been created there. All the interventions that we've rolled out have created some jobs. But when we took over power, the unemployment burden was so huge you couldn't create jobs in meeting the needs of the teeming youth. And I've been saying that when our good friend Rashid Pepo was asked on Joint News File about how to create jobs for the youth at that time, what was his response? He said they should go and cut grass and hew stones. That was how he said that jobs might be created. You know what I mean? John Mahama, former president, he said he was not a magician to create jobs for graduates. That led to the establishment of the Unemployed Graduates Association of Ghana. So if you had created heaven for us, and we had collapsed the heaven you have created, then you have every reason to blame us. But these were not done. Randy, I don't remember the last time Kenya was on an IMF program. I don't remember. You know what I mean?
You said I should wait, so
yeah,
I'm waiting for you. Because the IMF has just finished their staff level agreement with Kenya.
Okay.
And I'll read to you.
Okay, so
what is happening? And I'll read to you what Kenya also did during COVID.
Randy, I don't have any problem. So I want you to read everything to us. But I'm saying that when we took over, we were on an IMF program. So you must also tell us that before their recent signing on the IMF program, when were they there? So give us this information.
What's that correlation?
It's very important.
What's that correlation expected to do? What do you want to do?
Because I'm saying that our economy was fragile, was not resilient, was not robust before we took over power. So when we took over power, if the foundation had been strong, had been firm, solid, okay, and we had taken Ghana to an IMF program, then I'll have every cause to be concerned and worried. So let us situate Kenyan experience and our experience within that context.
Which Ghanaian government in this Fourth Republic, inherited an economy, the economy that you are describing? A resilient and whatever economy. Which government in this Fourth Republic inherited one?
So then you are answering the question that our economy has not been as robust as.
But is that not what you said when you were looking for the votes of Ghanaians?
Yeah. So when we took over,
didn't you say that you were going to do that?
Yeah, we took steps.
No, you said what you promised.
Yes, we're going to transform the economy.
Yes.
We took steps. Then 2 years we were hit by COVID. Yes, we took over in 2017. Then COVID started in 2019. When did COVID start?
2020.
Randy, no. COVID started in December 2019, but we first had it in March 2020.
Is that not when we declared COVID?
No, but I'm saying that, but COVID didn't start in 2020. That's the point I'm making. We first saw the virus in our country in March 2020, but it has started. Okay. The effects has started in December 2019. That's the point I'm making. Okay. And that's a fact, Randy.
All right. Okay.
Randy, you know, I think that I made the point earlier, and maybe Doc may have missed it, that sometimes the tolerance of the youth of Ghana may be frustrating, but nonetheless, it is commendable because it is the reason why we still have the only precious commodity left for us to sell ourselves on intact, and that's peace. Because every other resource in this country seems to be at risk, except peace. And I made the point that but for that tolerance, what we are experiencing in Kenya, we would have experienced long ago. And I find it quite ridiculous that Doc misses that point, and he, like many other communicators of the MPP, continue to cite external factors as reasons why we are going through what we are going through in this country. And I made the point earlier when he was speaking that I find it quite ridiculous that it does not even, dawn on us that it is a very, very annoying excuse to say that the Ukrainian war with Russia especially is one of the reasons why we are where we are. Yeah. When only a couple of weeks ago, we saw our president in a meeting with the war-torn Ukrainian president requesting for food aid, support. I mean, do you get the ridiculousness of that? You say that your country's economy is in a mess because of Russia-Ukraine war. And then you go to the war-torn Ukraine to help you, to assist you. I mean, if the situation is that bad in Ukraine to spill over to affect you, how do you expect assistance from Ukraine? I mean, that ridiculousness, I cannot just fathom. And that is why I think that, look, we should stop using that excuse because it has become so annoying to the people of Ghana. And if we are not careful, that's how we will push the youth to lose the hope that they have in the electoral process.
They won't lose it.
Because I am sure that they are patient and tolerant because they are hoping that in December they can channel all their frustrations through the elections and cause a change and ensure that this country is rescued and put back on the path of growth. And then you make the point, another ridiculous one, that ministers and appointees of this government sacrifice their salaries and compensations.
Yeah, that is true.
Look, Randy, that is a palpable lie. Look,
what is a palpable lie?
The fact that he is saying that ministers.
But we had an announcement to that effect.
Randy, the announcement. Listen to the announcement. Yes. The announcement was to the effect that that ministers and heads of SOEs were going to contribute 30% of their salaries to the consolidated fund from April to December
of
2022.
Oh.
That was the announcement.
Oh, okay.
It was not a salary reduction. It was an announcement that these appointees, SOEs, heads of SOEs, and ministers were going to contribute 30% of their salary into the consolidated fund between April and December of 2022. That was it.
A good sign.
I mean,
what was done?
I mean,
on this show, I even challenge you, the two of us.
You see, I
challenge you that Parliament should do same, and you say Parliament will not do it.
When you say these things to the people of Ghana who cannot afford, a decent meal today as we speak, it's insulting. So you think that it is significant for you to make a contribution of your salary. That is, by the way, very fat with all your allowances.
Really?
And I'm talking about ministers and SOEs.
Really?
Yes, ministers and SOEs. and heads of SOEs. We know that some heads of SOEs, in fact, they take like 3 or 4 times the salaries MPs take.
One is already seated here in the studio.
We know that. They take like 3 or 4 times that you take as MP. So it's already fun. And you tell us you are only making 30% sacrifice to a consolidated fund for just April to December in 1 year. And you think that is significant. I'm saying when you repeat that in the face of the suffering that people are going through, it is insulting. But I will move on. I will move on. What was a worthy example was ministers of the erstwhile NDC government making those contributions and applying it to the construction of CHIPS compounds, which is verifiable throughout the period from 2014 to 2016. Appointees sacrificed a part of their salary, and that was allocated to the I can't remember the percentage, and I don't want to speculate. But I'm saying that was for more than 6 months, and that was for the construction of chip compounds across the country. That is an example worthy of emulation, and not the fact that you abandon that example and then you set up this very cheap.
No global crisis.
Please, Doc, let me finish. You set up this cheap and ridiculous, example.
Pandemic in the world.
I think that you should stop that. And then you talk about the expenditure you have made. You have invested in many things, and that is why we shouldn't forget that. And then you mention free SHS. Look, Doc, you are a researcher, for God's sake. I mean, from 2017 to 2022 is the data I have. You have raised taxes to the tune of about 298 billion. Taxes alone. I'm not talking about borrowed money. Taxes, 2017 to 2022, 298 billion. And yet, the expenditure of free SHS is less than 8 billion.
It's more than that.
It's less than, at least, from 20 to 2022.
It's more than that.
And so when you sit here and then you say, you spend so much on free SHS, and yet you have raised this amount of money, and you are a Christian. In the Bible, it is said that to whom much is given, much is expected. You have raised these sums of money, and yet you still plunge us in this hardship, this suffering, this point where we are not even able to service our debts anymore. I mean, it is ridiculous for you to continue to make those arguments. And you speak about jobs. You created jobs. Really? What was the unemployment rate when you came to power? You said the NDC could not deal with it.
Tell me.
It was less than 6%. Today, according to the statistical service,
8 point something.
Yes, again, 8
point something.
According to the statistical service, with all the song and dance that you did on this stage about how you have created jobs, the unemployment rate today is 14.7.
But the 8.4 was
14.7, double digits, never ever experienced before in this country.
8.4 was at the end of 2020.
So that's why I'm saying that at the end of 2016, at the end of 2016, Randy, at the end of 2016, I cannot.
It's 2016.
Not 2016.
Yes.
Check it well.
So,
no, it is.
That's the point. Whatever it is, Randy, whatever it is, whether it was less than 6% or it was 8 point something, I am saying that today, with all the song and dance that you have done about job creation, the statistical service. And it is not NDC statistical service. The statistical service of Ghana is saying that unemployment is at an all-time high in this country today. In fact, NAPCO trainees only recently issued a statement attacking the vice president. And I think they correctly placed their concerns because that initiative was, supervised by the vice president's office. In fact, when he talks about policies that he initiated, I'm surprised that he never refers to that as a solution as he then used to claim to the unemployment situation in this country. So, I mean, all the talk about, jobs you have created and savings you have made.
What jobs did you create?
Dog. Go and look at the SNIT contributions. Go and look at the SNIT contributions from 2009 to 2. That is the most effective way of measuring jobs that are created within the system, because that is where you know that people, SNIT contributions are paid based on the jobs that they have been given across the country. It is not this myopic political, way of deceiving people with a so-called jobs creation scheme like you set up NAPCO. And then I remember I described it at the time as extended national service scheme. And people thought that I was just being a wet blanket. But that is what it has turned out to be.
It helped.
I'm saying that
at that time
it was not I don't know the word to use. Mm-hmm. It was not rocket science.
It was a short term
measure. It was an extended national service scheme.
But help.
You could have put it under the national service, because under the national service we already ran such a system. There was already such a system, though. There was already such a system where students who were done with national service could apply for an extended national service, and then they were posted to companies to still serve and still be on national service allowance. You could have done that. But you came up because you thought this was an intelligent thing.
It was.
And sometimes that's what amazes me. Yeah. When you brag about the boys who have become area boys, we are told. I mean, and these are your brilliant ideas of solving the problems in this country. In fact, recently I heard the flag bearer again. Randy, this is just a detour. I heard the vice president, the flag bearer of the NPP again, espouse some intelligent approach to improving infrastructure in this country. Do you know what he said? Well, that was intelligent. He said, government cannot fund all the infrastructure needs of this country, but the private sector has money. So what we are going to do is that we'll partner the private sector. They will provide this infrastructure, and then government will be paying bits by bits. And he was talking about educational sector. And I was like, does this guy know that that's how our roads are already constructed in this country? Because the contractors actually go to, banks and borrow money and come and do the roads, and then they are not paid. And then arrears, build up. And sometimes some of them, they lose their homes. As we are speaking today, some contractors are being threatened, by that. Go to the GET fund. That's how contractors already build schools. But you see, he sounded so confident in it, as if it is some new idea. And I'm like, is this now occurring to this so-called, economic wizard? And he doesn't realize that that's how we're already, solving our problems in this country. And so I'm saying that, look, some of these things that you tout as achievements rather go to anoint and provoke people whose last hope, I believe, for which reason they are being tolerant of the mess that is around us, is in the December elections, where they will express their disgust at the waste of our time in the last 7 years, and not just the time that is wasted, but the destruction in almost every sector. I used to say 3 E's, but I've been advised to add the 4th E. I mean, the energy sector, the environment, the educational sector, and our economy are all in a mess. And sometimes I worry for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the nation builder. I only have hope in his experience and his hard work. That is evident when he was president the last time. Otherwise, it's not going to be a walk in the park, resetting this country and bringing it back on the path of growth.
All right. We need to go, but gentlemen, I need to ask you a question. Alaji,
yes,
you on the Lands
and Forestry Committee.
You are deputy ranking?
Yes.
Lands and Forestry Committee in
yes.
Parliament?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a position on mining in forest reserves?
Yes.
What's your position?
It's a no-no.
No. So what do you say to the fact that there is already some mining in forest reserves?
I think it's unacceptable.
It's been there for years. There's
yes.
some of the mines that, I think one of the Newmont mines is in a forest reserve.
Yes. I think that it's unacceptable, and it's unacceptable because of our stage of development. As a country, we have not gotten to a point where we can ensure that we have the know-how and the expertise to do sustainable mining in forest reserves. I mean, elsewhere, sustainable mining is done. I mean, they have the technology, they have the know-how, they have the regulatory, frameworks that ensure that they mine safely in forest reserve, and then they protect the diversity, in the forest, and also protect the sanctity of the forest and the forest cover, and all the benefits that you still get from the forest, is not affected. But at our level, and our regulatory framework and our supervisory rules are so weak that, in my view, it is better that we preserve some of these things, because they are not going to get rotten away. They are not going to evaporate. So we regulate, we experiment regulating some of the areas that, will be less impacted by, where the environment will be less impacted. We experiment with that. When we perfect our systems and we can now do sustainable and healthy, if there's a word like that, mining in forest reserves, then we can contemplate that. I think this safeguard measures where you need a forest permit from the Forestry Commission before you can enter have all been compromised. It has all been compromised. And in my view, I think it is better we keep our forests. We save because you see, when the last tree dies, the last man dies. We need to appreciate that. Our water bodies are being destroyed as a result of that unregulated mining that we allow in some forest reserves. I think that we should just, put a blanket ban on it. And,
yes. I'll tell you.
He's going to discuss. He's going to discuss mining.
Do you have a position on that? Do you have a position on mining in forest reserves?
Yeah. I mean,
we have over 200. We have 200 of such.
Yeah, 200.
And the data shows that there are huge deposits in many of these reserves.
People argue that some of those forest reserves were actually grown purposely at the time to cover. But I still think
Randy, I think it's regulation and effectiveness. I mean, we are a developing economy. If some of these can be properly done, well regulated, that will benefit this country.
But do you have confidence that from where you sit, at least you've moved from academia into politics, you've been in parliament, you are a minister, you have seen even our fight against Galamsey, you have seen how excellently we've done with that fight and all that. I mean, you still believe that it's an issue that we should go ahead.
Randy, we need to keep fighting, pushing, hoping to get things done the right way. Okay. So Ghana is 6-7 years as compared to some countries that are over 1,000 years, well developed and all that. So my position is that we need to keep fighting. We need to keep strengthening our rules and regulations. We need to ensure that we also, patriot, as a big patriotism. We need to inculcate this in our lives. And I'm sure one day we'll get to where we want to be. Randy, Ghana now is different from Ghana in the 1990s. For me, the first time I came to Accra, I think it was 1988 or so. And things that I'm seeing now, I didn't see them at that time. So maybe our expectations are so high. We want to be like the US or Canada overnight. It might take time, so let's keep working and fighting. We will do our part. Others will come and continue. And probably.
So should we hold on until we believe that we have we've built the capacity, we have the political will?
Well, in nation building, it's like building our homes. You start, you make mistakes, you make progress, mistakes, you correct them, you learn out of them, you move on. You know what I mean? So that's how nation building is.
Mistakes are very costly.
Of course.
Especially when you're dealing with the environment.
But if you are afraid of making mistakes, you never make progress,
Okay.
So you make some, you learn from them, you correct them, and you make progress. For me, I'm still optimistic that this country, will get better one day.
All right.
And the youth, I want to play with you that let us continue to have belief and confidence in our leaders.
Okay.
Let us continue to wish our government so well, and I'm confident that we'll be able to move this country to a level that we'll all be proud of one day.
Right. Okay. All right. So I don't know.
I'm interested in your position too.
I don't know what your views are.
Or is it because
about mining in forest reserves?
The privilege of being
it's
a host.
It's an extremely controversial matter.
Yeah, it's like the
but
egg.
Guess what?
The egg and
we're going to start
situation.
the discussions on that controversial matter this
that's
morning.
why he's there. Oh, the
this
boss
morning.
is there.
Yeah.
And so a reminder is a Thursday. Our conversation with the CEO of the Minerals Commission is next, and we are starting our discussion on mining in forest reserves. We will dare go where nobody wants to go. We'll be back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana Live on Metro TV, and it's time to have our conversation about Ghana's natural resources, especially minerals, with the Minerals Commission. And as usual, as always, the CEO, Mr. Martin Ace, is here with us on the show. Good morning, Martin.
Morning, Randy.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of CSOs will be glued to their assets now because we're going to deal with an issue that as controversial as any other issue you can find. And this is an age-long matter, and it has to do with mining in forest reserves. Now, what do you see? A forest reserve is reserved. Why shouldn't it remain reserved?
Randy, good morning.
Yes.
And good morning to our listeners and viewers. I couldn't make it last week because I was in a program. I've spoken to the executive director of forestries. You know, forestry, they have a division. Same like Mincom. We have inspectorate division. And so like wildlife division, they have forestry services division. So I spoke to Mr. Brown. He's executive director for forestry services division. I got some data from him this morning, which I'll make public. I've agreed that next week, Thursday, I will not be around, but he comes with the person in charge of wildlife division and also throw more light on their perspectives. I will handle the mining bit, but then I got some detailed information from them as to the real situation on the ground. Ronnie, let me start by saying this. It's important we get, let me begin this way. People have strong views that we shouldn't mine in for. It's everywhere. You go to Australia and there's a place called the Great Barrier Reef. And I remember the struggle between environmentalists and then the Australian government, the province of Queensland. Fortunately, I was there because then I started my PhD in University of Queensland. I didn't finish though. And this coal mine, Carmichael, it was a big issue. And I hear the environmental permitting process took almost about 10 years, just because of the protection of this coral reef or the so-called Great Barrier Reef. Randy, I took some data for Forestry Commission, and myself, I was shocked this morning to know the various differences. So I want to read out that one first, so that we set the scene for our discussion. Then I'll tell you what I think from the mining perspective. Then I'll also share my personal views. It's always important you distinguish between your personal views and that of government. So according to the Forestry Commission, the data I got from the Forestry Commission, there are 266 forest reserves. And there are 22 proposed forest reserves. In other words, they are going through the process. The 266 I talked about, or I indicated, were set up under CAP 157. That is 1927. So if you like, put together, you can say 288 forest reserves. Only for me to realize that there are also other categorizations. So the forestry people tell me we have wildlife protected areas 21. Wildlife protected areas 21. So Randy, let me repeat. There are 266 forest reserves under CAP 157. That is the Forestry Act of 1927. Then we have proposed forest reserves of 22. So if you put that together, that's about 288. Then I have just been informed that we have 21 wildlife protected areas. Now, under the wildlife protected areas, 21, we have 7 national parks. So it tells you that there's a difference between a national park and a forest reserve. They will come here next week and go into detail. So I'm repeating. Forest reserves 266 gazetted properly under the law, CAP 157. Proposed forest reserve 22. So if you like, we can put the two together and see there are roughly about 288 forest reserves. Then we are told we have 21 wildlife protected areas. And under that, this is a breakdown. 7 national parks. So for example, Kakum. So you see, Kakum is not a forest reserve. So Kakum does not fall under the 288. It falls under the wildlife protected areas. And Kakum is 1 out of the 7. Then they said they have 6 resource reserves. So for example, Shire Hills, where you could go and hunt for game, trophy, those ones, they breed some animals, etc. He took his time to explain to me. If you want to ask too many technical questions, I'll bring them next week. And then you have 1 street nature reserve. I'm told there's one called Kojai in Ashanti. That's the one that he says, even if a leaf falls down, pass by. We have the forestry guards there. They are well armed, very well armed. Okay? Then you also have the some of the Ramsar sites. So 7 national parks, 6 forest reserves, 2 wildlife sanctuaries, 1 street nature reserve. That's a Kojai. An example of the wildlife sanctuary is Bomfobiri. I think it's in Ashanti. Kojai is also in Ashanti. Then wetlands are about 5. They give me the fine details. So together, that gives you 21 wildlife protected areas. So as far as forestry is concerned, I got this data from them. There's a difference between what is forest reserve and wildlife protected areas. So, for instance, Kakum is not a forest reserve. It's classified as a wildlife protected area. And what the forestry boss told me is that, you see these 21 I've listed. 7 national parks, 6 resource reserve, 2 wildlife sanctuaries, 1 street nature reserve, it's only Kojai, and the wetlands. These are no-go areas. Under no circumstance will any mining be allowed whatsoever. So, for instance, he tells me some of the wetlands. If Europe is cold and you find some of the birds, they are here, either spawning, to migrate and all those things. So, you see, before I go into the details, this is what I was talking about, I think about 2-3 weeks ago, when I was telling you that for me, okay, perhaps I'll start the discussion now. For me, what is important is that based on this forestry data, okay, we can now say that the wildlife protected areas, which are 21, these are no-go areas, end of story, full stop. We sign off. In fact, right now as they speak, they said these areas, there's no way to allow anything. Let's come to the 288. You see, Randy, I just got educated this morning. The difference between a forest reserve and a wildlife protected area. So it sits very well into the argument I've been making all along. So the problem is the 288, 266, which is gazetted. Now, then I asked him the question, how many of the 266, or if you like 288, has been, if you like, so-called affected by this mining activities. Then he says 38.
38 of
38
the 288.
of the 288. Out of the 288, 266 is gazetted. That is, the law has made it so. The 22, they are still going through the rigor of the law. You understand that? But once they have identified them, they are kind of protecting them. Then out of that, 38 is what they have documented as having some kind of mining taking place. Now, I am being told and I've been advised by forestry that the 38 also they've identified as mining activities taking place there has to do with illegal mining. I'm explaining the issue.
So 38 are forest reserves.
So basically, yes, it's what has been documented by Forestry Commission. This data comes from them as having been kind of affected by mining activities. And now I'm being told this 38 is essentially illegal mining activities. In other words, activities or mining operations that have taken place there, and those people or persons that are engaged in those activities in the so-called 38 do not have the requisite authorizations, permits, approvals, however you want to describe it, to do what they are doing.
That they are mining.
Well, this is the data I got, okay?
But is your commission aware of this?
Hang on. No, we are only aware of areas that have been lawfully permitted. So, Rani, it tells you that the problem has to do with illegal mining. The problem has to do with illegal mining.
Clarify something for me.
Randy, let me explain. I started the introductory remarks by giving you the breakdown of the various, if you like, protected areas. According to Forestry Commission, they have 266 forest reserves, okay, created under Cap 157, 1927, Forestry Act. Then they have 22 forest reserves proposed. So if you like, we can say 288 forest reserves, kind of in Ghana. Then they have 21
so for
wildlife.
those of you watching, you can follow it on the
Yes,
screen.
so they have 21 wildlife sanctuaries. And I'm saying under the 21 wildlife protected areas, they've listed 7 national parks, 6 forest reserves, resource reserves, 6 resource reserves, 2 wildlife sanctuaries, 1 street nature reserve, because it's only one I can mention in Kojai, and then 5 wetlands. They've also sent me on WhatsApp right now the details. So, for instance, the 5 coastal wetlands are Keta Lagoon Complex, Songo, Sakumono, Densu Delta, and Muni Pomazi.
Sakumono is gone.
Owabi is also an inland Ramsar site. Then it says 1 street nature reserve established at Kojai primarily for scientific purposes. Okay, where they get these herbs for those herbal medicine kind of. I'm sure the Mampong Medical Center, they do a lot of stuff there. And then it says 6 game production reserves. Here, other compatible form of land use is permitted. So, Bele, Kalakpa, Shai Hills, Bia, Ankasa, and Asin at Tandaso. 7 national parks, totally protected. That's the word they use. Totally protected. So, under no, circumstances, do they allow any form of human activity apart from what is, done to protect it. So here...
Does the 7 include Achimota?
No, hang on, let me read them. It says Mole, Dija, Bui, Bia, Chabobo, Nini, Shushian, and Kakum. Save other fine details for them when they appear on your show next week Thursday, because I will not be here. Then total area of Ghana's wildlife protected areas is approximately 5.6% of Ghana's land mass. And then that's about 1.4 million hectares. So this is the data from Forestry Commission as to the state of play. So for them, there's a distinction between what is forest reserve, what is wildlife protected areas, and then the various categories under them.
Right.
Now let's come to mining. Randy, I've been saying this severally, that there's no law in Ghana which says that mining is banned in forest reserve. You will not find any law which says that mining is banned in forest reserve. Okay? In other words, the current law or regulatory framework we have allow some form of mining. Now, as we speak, some mining activities are taking place in forest reserves. Now, I'm understanding them now. Forest reserves, not the 21 wildlife protected areas. Some forest reserves lawfully. Lawfully, by that means that Forestry Commission has allowed them. Minerals Commission has processed mining leases, taking them through all the requirements under the law. Ministers have signed, because some of them go back as far back as 1940. So the best example is Ghana bauxite, okay, which was first discovered during the First World War, 1914. Proper mining started in the 40s. So it means that over the past 80 years, at least 80 years now, colonial rule, we've been mining lawfully in forest reserve. It didn't start now. Lawfully in forest reserve. Essentially or primarily, the bulk of Ghana bauxite concession is within the forest reserve. There, they follow all the protocols. So, for example, I'm advised by Forestry Commission, you plant 3 times what you take. Okay, this kind of offset and all those things. So they do that. They follow strict protocols. Another example is Newmont Achin. So I just came to meet Honorable Suhini in the office. Sorry, in the studio here. I heard his position. So we're going to throw a challenge to, not a challenge, we're going to invite the Parliamentary Committee on Mines and Energy and Lands and Forestry. I'll arrange with Newmont to take them to Newmont Achin, because part of their concession is in the forest reserve. And then I will take videos, pictures, and perhaps we'll come along with journalists to come and see how mining has been done in forest reserves, like Newmont Achin, how the various rules and protocols have been followed and reclaimed. And it will amaze you. Now, in the era of technology, digitization, there are examples of before and after. So, for instance, I can today show you how Buin was looking at. Okay, like before Cardinal started the resettlement, which they finished now. We can show you the 2 photographs and all those things. So Newmont Achin, yes. And then Chirano Mines, which was then under Redback, later Kinross, now Asante. They are also forests. Okay? And they also, so Newmont, Ghana Bauxite, and what do you call it, Asante Gold, Chirano. They have been lawfully permitted, and they follow all the requirements by Forestry Commission. So I want to believe that Honorable Suhini and the other, his colleague that left your show, will take them there. Then they will understand the situation. They need more information, but be that is may, if after going through all that, they still feel personally that, because you see, there are some people who even feel that when a child is, let's say, 15 years, and the person is raped, let's say by armed robbers, not even by a close family person or whatever, by armed robbers, they shouldn't do abortion. There are some people, that's their religious belief. But I know Ghana law allows that, okay? And when it's a threat to the health of the mother, under certain conditions is allowed, okay? There are some people feel strongly that even somebody is raped. So an armed robber comes to your house and rapes a girl of 14 years, and the lady becomes pregnant. While some people think that, oh, circumstances like this, they should abort. There are some people who say no. Maybe the father will allow, and maybe the father for religious reasons will even say no. Okay, so we can take them to the Achin mine, we can take them to Awaso, we can take them to Asante, and they will still come back and say, yes, it's being done properly, but we still think no. I mean, you can call them extremists if you like, pardon my language. But hearing Honorable Suhini and then the MPP guy, I think the Kwadaso MP, you realize that all that they were talking about is that they claim we are not there yet. The protocols, perhaps, in, if you like, the advanced countries, that these things are done, like the Great Barrier Reef and all those areas, he thinks that either we don't have it or the system in place is weak. But I want to I want to take them to New Montachin and then Chirano so that they will see how it's being done. And then when they come back one day, you ask them whether what they saw there, and I would like you to join. So this is just setting the scene. Then after that, I'll tell you my personal view.
So before you go to your personal view, will their position not be enforced and reinforced by the disclosure that you've made to us from the Forestry Commission? That as we speak, the Forestry Commission itself has recognized that there is illegal mining occurring in 34 forest reserves. Illegal mining.
38.
38 forest reserves.
That has taken place.
Yes.
Hang on, Randy. They said they have documented among the 266 or if you like 288, the record shows that 38 were affected by illegal mining.
Yes.
Randy, Mincom and Forestry Commission go to areas that are lawfully permitted. Mm-hmm. So I'll plead with you as to whether the 38 is still going on, they've been able to stop it or not. Let's reserve that for Mr. Brown to come and answer next week Thursday on 38. Because if I tell you here that it's still going or it's not going or they stop it, I'll be lying to the public. Let them answer that. No, I can speak to New Montachin.
No, what I'm asking
hang on. I can speak to Chirano.
Yes.
I can speak to Awaso. Because those are the ones that mining is lawfully permitted. And then they do the offsetting and making sure that they plant 3, 4, 5 times that. But if I sit here and tell you, oh, this 38, is it still going on? It has been stopped. I'll be lying to you. I'll bring them here next week for them to come and answer that.
No, I appreciate what you're saying. But for many of those who are watching us, they are watching the CEO of the
Minerals Commission.
Yes. Which is supposed to be the regulator for mining in Ghana.
Yes.
Now, the regulator for mining in Ghana speaks about responsible mining by large-scale mining companies in forest reserves. There's data
like what Newmont is doing at Achim.
Yes, but there's data which he has put out which suggests that there has been or there is unlawful mining in 38 forest reserves.
Yes.
Obviously, from what you're saying, this is not something that the commission is even aware of.
No, we are aware of many of them because these things are brought to our attention either by public-spirited individuals, journalists, or anybody who has chanced upon it. And for example, if I get information right now that there is some kind of activity going on in a forest reserve, okay, quickly I'll pass it on to the Forestry Commission that we've picked this intelligence or this information has come into, somebody has just told us this, so let your people go. Because you see, you cannot enter any forest reserve in Ghana unless Forestry Commission allows you. It's the same thing. You cannot enter any mining area. No, forget about even Forestry Commission. You can't just get up and go to Goldfields or Newmont or any area where mining is taking place unless Minerals Commission allows you. Even the mining company, unless you're a worker there or you're providing a service, anybody who wants to come there, you need permission of the Minerals Commission. Apart from Minerals Commission, those who can go there unfettered access is Ghana Geological Survey, EPA, and Water Resources Commission. So if you are not from Water Resources Commission, Environmental Protection Agency, Ghana Geological Survey, and Minerals Commission, okay, even the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, if they want to go to a mine, I will have to arrange that, okay? And what I want you to understand, because the information I get from Forestry Commission is that what is leading to the public outrage, okay, is the illegality. That many of the things that are taking place there are mining activities they have not permitted. Unlike the Newmont, Achim, Ghana Bauxite, and co. So we need to separate the two. So what am I trying to tell you? Randy, let us distinguish between what is lawfully allowed and what is illegal. The problem is the illegality. Then two, I have just been educated that as for some areas, no matter what, they will not allow you. Even if you have trillions of dollars there. Those are the wildlife protected areas. I didn't know until this morning because for me, I thought a reserve is reserve. But I knew of Ramsar site and co. So we should distinguish between what is lawfully being permitted and what, according to Forestry Commission, are people who have entered the forest illegally. As to what is driving that, they have to answer. Is it the case that they don't have the men, they don't have the resources, or whatever reason or so? Because we know, for example, there are cocoa farms in forest reserves. Okay, people have farm and co. We know, for example, people built in Sakuman or Ramsar site. So remember, the Interior Minister, formerly Greater Accra Regional Minister, started some process to stop them. So they will be in the better position to answer what caused the 38 to be degraded, whether they are still there or they are not there. I can speak to those who have been permitted lawfully, because Minerals Commission people can enter New Tachim and go to areas they are mining. They don't need to inform forestry. Okay? So, hang on.
Yes.
So that is it. Now the question now is, beyond all these 288 forest reserve, what is being done lawfully or what is being permitted, what is being an illegality, and then areas that even if a leaf falls, you have to pass by and go, people are armed to the teeth. Then the bottom line, the question now is, even areas that are lawfully permitted, is this something we should do? Should we change the policy and say, okay, the ones we have given already, they are grandfathered, and that there should be no more permitting or authorization whatsoever, irrespective of whether it's a forest reserve or whatever? That's a decision as a nation we should take. Do you understand?
But as we speak, is there any obstacle to the Minerals Commission licensing mining in a forest reserve?
Whether there's any obstacle?
Is there any obstacle? Do you have a situation where there's an application and you cannot grant it?
Yes, because Forestry Commission will have to allow you.
But that's the law.
Yes.
Do you have a problem with that?
Pardon me?
Do you have a problem with that?
Well, I will not say I have a problem with it. If there is any issue, then I would have to engage them. So, for instance, if somebody brings an application and it falls within the 266, we'll tell you no. Because you see, we have superimposed all these areas on our mining cadastre. So the moment you come and we plot, we can tell you straight away that it's a forest reserve. Go to Forestry Commission. We will not touch it. Okay? If by following their protocols, their rules, they will allow you, that's okay. There's no way Minerals Commission will get up and start anything. Unless Forestry Commission says, okay, for this one, maybe it's degraded, or for whatever reason we'll allow you. But Randy, so that's the position.
Now explain this for me. Are you suggesting that an application for a mining concession, once it falls within a forest reserve, is within the ambit of the Forestry Commission?
So let me explain to you.
Yes.
So let's say you, Randy Company Limited.
Yes.
You submit an application online for a permit authorization to undertake mining activity. The first thing we'll do is to plot the application on our mining cadastre. In the first phase, to determine whether it's free or not. If it's not free, we'll tell you, sorry, it's somebody's property. But
what is the mining cadastre?
Oh, the mining cadastre is basically the system that holds, if you like, the entire area of Ghana.
Okay.
Which shows where mining is taking place, where there are pending applications, and areas that are free. That is basically
it's like the mining map of Ghana.
If like the whole Ghana.
Yes.
The whole Ghana. But we call it mining cadastre because within the cadastre you can know areas that have licenses. Okay? When granted, when they are, the duration. Then areas where there are pending applications, areas that are potentially free, and the areas that fall within all these areas. Okay? So when we check and realize it's a forest reserve, we'll tell you we can't move an inch.
Okay.
So because you have to go to Forestry Commission. You understand? So if Forestry Commission allows you, that means that they have deemed it fit that 15 square kilometer or 10 square kilometer, they think.
So when you go to Forest Commission and they say yes, what
if
then
they say
happens?
yes, you come back to Minerals Commission.
That's the clarification.
Because in the forestry letter to Minerals Commission, they will have to state categorically and say they have no objection to you considering the application.
Okay.
And then we will go through all the various processes and then take it. You understand?
So have you received such?
We get a lot.
No, I mean there's no objection from the forestry.
We get a lot. We get some too, they said no. some they will tell you is within these so-called 21 areas. For example, there's no way they will give you a right to go to Kojai, which is a street nature reserve, the only one we have, or any of these, or Shy Hills Game Reserve, which I'm told is a reserve area. Now, Randy, let me tell you, this is basic information. I got educated. I knew of some, but then I got educated in more details this morning when I spoke to Brown. As I said, I'll bring them tomorrow, then you can ask them other issues. Now let's come to the main issue. Should we allow mining in forest reserve? Randy, if you ask me personally, I would say yes and no. And let me explain. Randy, and you remember, as Minerals Commission, one of our mandates is to formulate and recommend policies to government.
Yes.
Okay? And I believe that some form of mining should be allowed. We will not be able to finish today. We will continue. If I'm available, I'll come with the other time. The question is this. I think that what we have been doing to ourselves, or what we have not done properly as a nation, is that, as I said, since 1940, we've been having mining in Awaso, okay, for bauxite. The discovery was done in 1914. Mining is taking place lawfully in Chirano, area, the forest reserve, and then part of Newmont's concession in Achim. Why don't we, and this is what I think that fortunately we have an institution that has the know-how. Why don't we look for money and give it to Ghana Geological Survey Authority, if like government explorer? They go out there and carry out a detailed survey of all these forests, because they have the capacity to do it, okay? Or even bring private person, whatever. I mean, the state should find a way and do it. Already, we've been advised the 21, no. So take out the 21. The 288. We spend some resources and map them and do a detailed study of all the 288. Then now we sit down as a nation and say that, look, and then we get proper professional advice. It's just like the way when you are sick, that you go to 3-4 different doctors and different labs. Then they will tell you that, look, option A is you take the tumor. Or when it gets to, we will not advise at this stage because of you have some underlying conditions, or because of this. So let's do some chemotherapy or radiation therapy. Or this one, look, if you don't take it out, you die. Or this one, even we don't have the technology, go outside if you can afford. It's the same principle I'm talking here. So I prefer we do the mapping extensively. Because, I believe strongly that people don't have information. People are just saying anything because of the outrage they see and the way people are misbehaving. But be that it may, you can still be very well educated and still feel strongly that in spite of all the education and the understanding I have, I don't want it. Like this abortion thing. That despite that the person has been raped, I still think that we shouldn't allow it. The Catholic position those days, I don't know whether they still starting their stand. To the extent that they will say that they don't even allow divorce. I don't know whether it's still the case. Whatever the case is, you see. So you had Ireland and is it Chile and co those days. Just like some countries say, if you don't vote, it's a crime. I think Australia also, or Chile. I don't know whether they still maintain the law. So do the mapping and then come out and say, okay, out of the 266, 50 are well endowed with all kinds of minerals. But having gone through the mapping and sat down with the forestry officials who are experts, and you brought all the experts, out of the 50, 20, even though the minerals are there, they are the headwaters of water bodies. So we shouldn't allow them, or else when we allow, the water bodies are gone. So then 50 has a lot of resources out of the 288. Let's say 20 headwaters of water body. So you now ring-fence and perhaps add them to the 21 and say these 20 under no circumstance should we allow. Okay, let's say the remaining 30, what do you do? Now you have discovered that out of, let's say, the remaining 30 that is left, after you have taken out this headwaters one, 10, the nature of the ore bodies is underground, deep-seated. You will not touch the surface. Okay? That is where my personal view will come in. And I'll recommend it to any government any day. It's up to the government to make a final decision. That where you've done thorough mapping and the gold or any other mineral is deep-seated and you not touch the surface. Just like you go to Johannesburg and you see thousands of tunnels and then buildings on top there. Okay, people have even finished mining. It's not that the Zamazamans are entering and then doing illegal mining. Those Zimbabwe guys are blowing things up. Okay, maybe they should have covered it or whatever. You see, then you now say, okay, the whole body is deep-seated. It doesn't affect the headwaters of any water body and all those things. So we should license them and get them regulated properly, like Newmont Achim, Asante Gold, Chirano, or Ghana Bauxite, and have a certain kind of sharing formula. So it is only if you're allowing it, if it's 10 square kilometer, you do an offset of 50 square kilometers somewhere, you pay the forestry commission some kind of money. I mean, we can put a whole price on. You see, that is what we have not done. You go and read the report of Carmichael Coal Project in Queensland. Then say these 10 will allow it. And Randy, that is the issue we'll be faced with in Savannah region. Let nobody deceive himself.
Okay.
Savannah region, where my minister comes from. Okay?
So
then, hang on.
No,
I'll just give you excepts.
Yes.
My minister comes from Savannah. He's from Damango.
We won't have time.
You wait. Just to wrap up.
We need to.
And then the presidential candidate of NDC also comes from Boli, that area. Unfortunately, I'm using the word unfortunately because people get a bit, tense when you mention forest reserve. The Boli Savannah situation is exactly what I'm describing. And it is the bitter truth, it's a hard truth, we need to deal with it now. So you go to some areas of, like areas called like Waka Waka, Boli. I know by virtue of the fact that I had a regulatory body. Randy, there are several thousands of small-scale miners, as we speak, working underground. Underground.
Legally or illegally?
Oh, and some have, if it's forest reserves, it's illegal. Okay? But there are some small-scale areas that we've permitted, and they have licenses like Tinga, Dakrupe. But there are some areas that are forest reserve. And I'm told they've gotten there, and they go down, go and break the rocks, okay? Take it out and take it to their processing plant and process. Several thousands of them, they are working quietly.
Illegally
because they've not been permitted. It is not an issue now because I keep telling you the situation in the north is a sharp departure from in the south. You see, in the south, you have this Brim, Pra, and Cobra and Co. Where people, yes. That is not so. That's why we have to be careful about the black water, which we are protecting. I mean, the military go there a lot to flash people. But Savannah, many of those places is all deep-seated. So, shouldn't we be allowing small-scale miners, for example, to do underground mining so that we regulate them like the way we've done for Achim, Chirano, Achim, Chirano is underground, and then Achim is about to go underground. So that we regulate them properly.
But what's stopping you from doing that?
Well, because we don't allow small-scale mining forest reserves for now. For now, it's just a large scale. For now, but they are there. And before you realize, Randy, we are Ghanaians and we know how we behave. Before you realize, you'll be dealing with 1 million people who are working underground, or 500,000 people who are working underground in areas that ordinarily you have allowed. And I'm saying this because, Randy, when we permitted...
But you will be blamed.
No, not that we'll be blamed.
Because it started
it is the ostrich in us. Not that we are looking on. It is the ostrich in us that has... And that's how we behave as a nation. When they started pulling down structures in the Ramsar site, when the regional minister, my darling, started pulling down interior minister, what was our reaction? Oh, I'm mature. I spend money, can you be and all those things. You understand that? A lot of things are going when you start and that kind of thing.
But that's not an excuse.
That's not an excuse. Yes. So you must get the information properly and plan now. That's my suggestion. Because I'm seeing it. I don't want to behave like what we saw in 1989, where small scale was lawfully permitted. So Venerable Kofi Ansan, who was the CEO, okay, when they started the World Bank reforms, because we were finding our gold and diamonds in Togo. So when we sold off all those mines that were once run by Ghanaians, Takwa, Obua, Prestia, Dunkwa Continental, because we mismanaged and like those Gihok family, Ghanaians and co. Then the World Bank and co advisor, look, legalize this small scale thing. That started even before the British came. So we started with small scale gold law. Kofi Ansan Dems and co were running Minerals Commission. Akila Kwasoya was a board chairman and co. And then the advice was that let's do it properly. Then they designated areas they call blockout areas. So they said government should make money available to geological survey for us to do geological investigation. Okay? Nobody took it serious. And then let me use this account term. Ankra, when they are told that it's about barely 5% chance of success. Okay? So you're talking about just about 5 regions: Ashanti, Eastern, Central, Western, which includes now Western North and Upper East. These are the areas Kofi Ansan Co open offices just to manage a small scale. Barely 1,500,000 people. When you say that time, they will tell you, I mean, right from the Rawlings era, and it's all successive government. Oh, Guinea when? Oh, schools under trees. Oh, hospitals. This thing, how sure are you? Nobody paid a heed. So we sat down for 30 years. 30 years. Then enter technology. We change the architecture of everything. So 5 regions, Randy, I'm grappling with small-scale activities in 13 regions. Except Uti, where I come from, Volta, and Greater Accra. Even Uti, we are seeing discoveries of gold. There's gold in Rara, under the water. It's just that it's not like oil. And under they'll do it. So they said, Nana, this thing, I said, no, we cannot allow it. So now you're talking about 13 regions supporting 3 million livelihoods, direct and indirect. Randy, you can't go to Takwa, Obuasi, Diaso, where the transport minister comes from, Upper West Danger, that area. Even now, Boli, okay, Tinga and all those things, and go and talk about anything outside mining. You understand that? The focus will be on how you do it properly. And Randy, the hard truth is this: if most people don't know, I'll say it. Managing small scale is now a critical aspect of our campaign issue. Let nobody deceive himself.
When is that campaign issue?
When I say campaign issue, no party can go to this election without telling these 3 million people who depend on small scale mining in these 13 regions. You're talking about what, 10% or so of the population, and not go and talk about how you manage small scale properly. It's a fact, and the figures are growing. In about 2-3 years, you talk about 5 million people. Okay? So if you ask me, I will strongly recommend that where there are deep-seated ore body, for example, like gold, in forest reserve, not the 21 wildlife protected areas, we should allow it.
So for those who don't understand, when you say deep-seated ore...
Oh, for example, the only way you can go and mine it is to sink a shaft. Either a decline or just sink a shaft, perhaps 100 meters, 300 meters. Ubasi is about 1 kilometer deep. Okay. So maybe 500 meters or so. You sink a shaft. Okay. So it will not be bigger than maybe the size of this studio or something. Okay. You understand that?
And small scale has the capability to do that.
They have the capability, and that's what people don't know. There are a lot of lawful small scale underground. If you go to Takwa, everything is underground, small scale. I know of a site that has 3 licenses, 5,000 people are working there. 5,000, you heard me.
And
they are permitted, they have the license.
They're doing underground.
Yes, they have the license, they have the EPA, they have the Chief Inspector's operating permits. RMG site. There is underground, an area that was formerly under Gold Fields. They are working underground. Takwa, everything is underground, except those 2 large scales. Takwa and then Iduaprim, those are huge open pits.
Okay.
But overwhelmingly, all the small scale activities in Takwa is underground. Okay. Right. So I would recommend strongly that where the only way you can reach the ore body is to sink a shaft. Okay. We should allow it. The forest is still there. Remember, don't allow processing in the forest. Take the ore out. the forest and go and process.
So we'll come back to come and now discuss your position on this in detail.
And let me underscore this. These are my personal views, born out of experiences over 20 years.
Well,
hang on.
Yes.
Not the position of government, because my duty is to advise government. It's up to them to take it or leave it.
Yes.
But whatever I'm telling you now is my personal view, and also what is lawfully happening.
The personal views of the CEO of the
Minerals Commission. Okay. That's my personal view. Because I may even constitute my huge team at Mincom and they say, boss, this one we disagree also. Okay? So you don't force anything on 400 staff. Okay? It's all Kenya.
You need your...
Oh, there are a whole lot of... I mean, for instance, if the chief inspector of mines says he has to close down a mine now, I cannot stop him.
Yeah. Okay.
Because he has done the assessment and says, this is so dangerous. It's not the one that I'll issue a stop order. Or I say, oh, this one I'm giving you a fine. Repair this, 1 week I'll come and check. But maybe the way the rainfall is, your tailing dams is weak, whatever. Or for some reason, what I'm seeing now, there could be a collapse or there could be an accident. I'm closing you down.
Right.
I, CEO, cannot stop the chief inspector of mines.
Okay.
What he will do is to take me through the reasons why he wants to do that. And he will just close down the mine.
All right.
Because he's the chief inspector of mines, he's the chief inspector of explosives. That's how it works there. I mean, administrative and other issues, we can overrule them. But where your inspector comes to tell you that this is like the generals telling you, all the generals telling you that we shouldn't go to this war. Clearly, you have lost it if you decide to proceed.
Okay.
Unless you want to replace all of them.
Okay.
Okay, so Randy, this will spend, if you like, the whole of July.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll continue. We'll continue.
Have you learned something? Have you learned something?
I always learn.
Yes. So it is not, I want to believe that, look, let's educate Ghanaians. Let's give them all the information from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And let us decide as a nation. So you see, the president of Kenya listened. He says, okay, I'm stepping the thing down and consult the youth.
Well, unfortunately,
but the problem with us is that we do a lot of things here with emotions. Okay, when something happens, oh, stop it. That is not to say. I'm not saying that we shouldn't hold public institutions or government or persons accountable. Yes, as the boss of Minerals Commission, you have to hold me accountable by my mandate. That's not what I'm running away from. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying have the information, have the facts before you make any comment. Do you understand? If you still, after getting information, you still stand by. I mean, journalists get sued. Later on, they said, we are retracting, we are apologizing. It is different to say, oh, I wanted to talk to the person, he refused, so I went to the press. And then you get sued. Later on, you are ordered retract and apologize. So we got to be patient. And now we are doing a lot of public education, so people are beginning to understand us. Get the information, then you can still decide. All right. So the MP, I'll take him there, Honorable Suini and Co. Okay. We'll take him there. And then, because his point was that, together with the Kwadaso MP, was that they believe things are weak.
Yeah, because when they look at the 38.
Yeah, so go and look at Achim, and then when they come back, you ask him whether what he saw in Achim.
No, but you must take them to the 38 because that's also a failure of regulation.
Well, when you take them to the 38, then when we come back, then you can ask him, Honorable, should we allow underground mining in forest reserve, let's say for small scale?
Okay, that then becomes a different conversation. All right, so thanks Martin for joining me once again. I will continue next week. Up next, Metro Sports.